Hey guys, welcome back to my channel McNallie Money, home of all things stock, investment, and personal finance related. Now today's video discusses some huge news that came in the MJ space, and it has to do with the acquisition of Supreme Cannabis by Canopy Growth. Now these are both companies that we've talked about on the channel recently. I did a deep dive on Supreme or Fire just a couple of weeks ago, and I had a lot of people texting me and asking questions about this acquisition. So I thought I better get on it, make a video, and talk about the potential options you have as a shareholder and what this means for both companies moving forward. Now, as always, please feel free to leave a comment in the section below. Let me know what you think of this analysis and what you're planning on doing with your Fire or Supreme shares. As always, please take a second to smash that like button. It really does help out the channel, and it helps get this content to other people who might find value like yourself. And if you don't already, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. Now without further ado, let's roll the intro clip and get into today's video. Okay guys, so that's right, some big news in the MJ space this morning. I actually woke up, I looked at my phone, I saw the price alert on Fire or Supreme shares, and I then looked at my text messages and was just getting blown up with people talking to me about this deal, about their current holdings, and what to do and what this means as a shareholder of Supreme. So I wanted to take a second and go through the acquisition, what it means to you as a potential shareholder, what your options are, and then ultimately what it means for these two companies moving forward. So this is the initial article. You can see it was published this morning before the markets were open. It did cause an IROC trading halt on Fire until the news came out, and it pushed the share price up by about 50%, which we'll see in a second here. So in terms of the overall deal, it was a $435 million deal in Canadian dollars. So that's about a 66% premium over Supreme's market cap as of close on April 7th or yesterday. Now, if we jump into the Supreme chart here, you can see it closed out the day up 13 cents or 49%. So it finished just under 40 cents Canadian. And that's exactly what's so exciting about these small cap companies. I recently put out a video about Supreme and went through this company in detail. We've also talked about Canopy on this channel, and it really is just a matter of time until some of these big large cap MJ companies start buying up some of these small players or penny stocks. And that's what I like so much about being well diversified in the MJ penny stock space, and why I've enjoyed producing these videos over the last couple of months. I think this sector overall is going to see extreme growth over the next 5 to 10 years, and a lot of these small cap penny stocks are going to be the ones that either get bought out and you see a big premium like this, or they're going to go through a massive growth cycle just through organic growth. Now if we jump over to the Canopy page, you can see the news for this stock actually resulted in share price dropping by about 5.5% today. So shares were down $1.99 on the Canadian side of things, and that means Canopy closed out the day at $35.75 in Canadian dollars. Now in terms of market cap, Canopy is valued at about $13.5 billion. So this acquisition is relatively small for a company of this size and represents about a 30th of their overall market cap, but it does open up some great potential for this company and a lot of synergies between the two businesses that we're going to talk about in a second. Now in terms of the actual details of the transactions, a lot of my buddies were texting me and saying, hey, what should I do with my shares? What does this mean? What are my options? So essentially you have two options when there's a buyout like this. You can either wait for the buyout to go through and actually receive shares of the purchasing company, so in this case Canopy Growth, or you can choose to sell your current shares of the purchased company, so in this case Supreme, at any point up until that transaction date and receive cash for your shares based on that share price jump that we just saw of about 50%. Now you will see the share price does bop around a little bit between when the news is announced and when the deal is closed, and that really has to do with market uncertainty. So in some of the bigger buyout situations, in industries that are very regulated, like for example telecom, one that comes to mind is the Rogers-Shaw buyout, you'll see that Shaw is actually trading at a fairly healthy discount compared to the buyout price of about maybe 15%. And that's because the telecom industry here in Canada is very regulated, and there's still some hesitation on whether or not that deal will go through. Now, in the MJ space, it's obviously not as regulated. The government's not as involved or worried about these companies creating monopolies or duopolies. So you'll see that the share price here is trading very close to the purchase price or the buyout price offered by Canopy. And you can actually do the math on that. So if you go into the article here, you can see that Supreme shareholders are going to actually receive 0.01165,872 shares of Canopy stock plus a fraction of a cent in cash for each Supreme share that they hold. So if you do the math on that and you times this number by the current Canopy share price of $35.75, it actually works out to 41.7 cents. And you'll see that that's very close to where Supreme closed today, just under 40. So you're almost getting full value based on that buyout price or that share ratio. And that's ultimately where you need to make a decision as an investor. So if you want to be invested in Canopy Growth and you feel like this acquisition is going to help that company gain market share, grow revenue, and ultimately become more profitable, then you can totally hold on to those shares and leave your account untouched. On the other hand, if you feel like Canopy either overpaid for Supreme or you just want to take your money and run, you're happy with the return that you got on your Supreme shares, you can cash them out right around this 40-cent price and invest that money wherever else you want. Now, if you do decide to hold on to the Canopy shares, there are a number of things that this acquisition has allowed that company to do, and they're actually outlined in the article. So if we jump back to the news release here, you can see the key transaction highlights listed below. So number one, this solidifies Canopy's leadership position in the Canadian recreational market, and it positions them in even a better spot to continue to grow. So between the two companies combined, they represent now about 13.6 or just under 14% of the total Canadian recreational market. They also call out 7 Acres holding Canada's #1 premium flower position, along with the PAX vapes that we talked about in the Supreme breakdown video, and their top 5 position in pre-rolls or pre-rolled joints. They then talk about the premium brands that they're going to be adding to Canopy's brand portfolio. So the 7 Acres brand, 7 Acres Craft Collective, along with Blisco and Truvera, which again are the brands we talked about in that deep dive video and that we were so excited about. They then go on to mention the Ontario production and cultivation facility. So this gives them significant potential to scale their actual cultivation and growing operation size. Obviously a lot of happy shareholders, so a 66% premium roughly on Supreme shares. So those people are going to be really excited, particularly the employees and senior leaders who have a sizable amount of money invested in this company or currently holding a number of shares. They then mention Canopy's post-transaction balance sheet and cash position of nearly $2.5 billion, which is absolutely insane compared to a lot of the companies we've been reviewing in the last few months. $2.5 billion cash is phenomenal and really gives them a lot of flexibility in terms of future acquisition and growth opportunity, particularly in the US market. And then the final point they mention here is actually the cost synergies between the two companies. So they feel like they can realize around $30 million of synergies within the next 2 years by streamlining the COGS, general and administrative expenses, and some of the shared operations or services. And then to finish off, I did want to just mention a comment from Bina Goldenberg, who we talked about in the Supreme video. This transaction is a testament to the value created by all the teams at Supreme and will be beneficial to all of our stakeholders. So they're really excited about this. Obviously, it's a feather in their cap in terms of being able to build a company up to a $400+ million market cap and then get acquired by one of these mammoth players in the industry. And I think we're going to continue to see this type of consolidation from companies like Canopy, Aphria, Tilray, Cresco in the immediate future as these companies jockey for position and really try and bolster their cultivation, distribution, and product portfolios in anticipation of full US federal legalization. Now, they do expect this transaction to close in June of 2021, so relatively quick turnaround. And if for whatever reason the transaction does not go through, Supreme is guaranteed to receive a $12.5 million payment or termination fee from Canopy. So realistically, regardless of if this goes through or not, which I personally think it will, Supreme has the benefit of the doubt and will see some benefit regardless. And I've actually seen this happen in the past, and I've actually seen a situation like this in the past. I believe it was with WeedMD, and they actually received a $5 million payout because the deal didn't go through a couple years back. So that's it for today's video, you guys. As mentioned, I was extremely excited to see this news this morning. It's so cool to see these companies interact with each other, specifically because we just released this video on Fire or Supreme Cannabis so recently, and to wake up and see that they were being acquired with such a handsome share price premium was really cool. I'm so excited and happy for everybody who watches this channel and actually did decide to pull the trigger on Supreme shares. I know a number of you have been messaging me today congratulating each other, and it's great to see everybody making money and prospering in this sector. So continue to watch the videos. Hopefully this is the first of many acquisitions and we can make some more money off these MJ stocks. If you haven't already, please take a second to like the video, subscribe to the channel. We just crossed 600 subscribers, so we're doing awesome. Can't wait till we get to 1,000 and continue to see this channel grow. Leave a comment in the section below on what you think of this video, if you're currently holding any Supreme shares, if you're going to sell or hold out and convert to Canopy shares. And as always, you guys have a great rest of your day.